Welcome to another episode of BXT. This is Rana.
This is Rod, and we have right now a special guest, Allan Calumpang.
Hi, musta?
Hi, musta?
That's right. Okay lang ba?
It's okay, it's okay.
So, guys, just to give you a brief background, Allan Calumpang is a financial consultant for Nexus, but I'll have him do the introductions himself. So, quick introduction now.
Yes, my name is Allan. I've been in UAE for 14 years now, and then I am a chemical engineer by profession. I've been working for 8 years as a chemical engineer, but I shifted career to the financial industry. And then I think one of the main reasons why I did that is because I think there's really a need for a lot of individuals to be educated in terms of finances. So I am an authorized financial consultant of one of the insurance brokerage here in the UAE, and I am also a member of the UK Chartered Insurance Institute in the United Kingdom, and with a certificate in insurance and financial planning as well. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, one of Allan's pastime is forex trading.
Yeah, stock market, forex.
Different words, but you know.
Yeah.
So I think Rona's got some questions lined up as well.
Yeah, I have some actually. Okay, so the
I think
first
it's a long
one,
list.
Yes.
No, it's not that long. Anyhow, the first one would be why a lot of people are uninsured.
Uninsured.
Yes.
Why a lot of people are uninsured? I think it always boils down to education and then awareness, and probably a lot of people, they don't really recognize the importance. It's not even just important, it's actually need. It's a necessity of having an insurance. And then there's a lot of misconception about insurance, that it's expensive. I mean, maybe it's a scam, like what if, I mean, they have a lot of queries, they have a lot of concerns as well, and that's probably one of the main reasons as well that they don't believe in insurance in itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, going to insurance again, just to dig a bit deeper into that. So, what's the cheapest insurance coverage one can get? Like, for example, as you said, some people think it's expensive.
Okay.
Say, for example, if you were a person making around 3,500 here in the UAE, what sort of insurance policy are they able to get? Like, what would be the price range?
Okay, if we're talking about life insurance in general, because they can also get medical health insurance or maybe car insurance, but we're talking about life insurance in general. So, there are two categories, general categories of life insurance. We have term insurance, and also we have what we call as permanent life insurance. The term insurance, that's the cheapest that they can actually get, and even they can, for an international provider, they can just get at least even $50 US, and that's how much, like 150 dirhams, 150 on a monthly basis. And then and that would also depend on their need and their needs. So they can get term insurance because the reason why it's cheaper, because they're only paying for the cost of insurance. There's no investment component in it. It's just purely term insurance. It's just like car insurance. They're going to be renewing it at a specific time frame, and then it could be in every 5 years, every 10 years. It depends, and that's the cheapest so far. They can also get maybe some banks provide other term insurance wherein they could also renew it every year. So it might also go down as low as less than 100 or even 60 or 50.
And that already includes riders for critical illness?
It depends. It depends. For the one that I've mentioned, like the $50 US, which is 150, around 150 dirhams, that includes also some riders, including critical illness, permanent total disability. So that will still depend on their need. But that can include, and that would also depend on their age. Because it might be very, very expensive already if they're gonna be taking it like they're 50 years old or even 60 years old. So because the cost of insurance is a factor of age, the older we are, the more expensive insurance is. It's also a factor of gender. So it's cheaper if you're female than a male, and then because they said male, we are high risks compared to women, and then it's also a factor of the cost of insurance. Is also a factor of how do you call that, where you actually took the life insurance from. So it also depends on the country. If for me, because I'm comparing right now Philippines as well as in the UAE, if, say for example, if we're taking the cost of if we're taking an insurance in the Philippines, it's a little higher because any insurance provider, they have to really factor out the risk profile of the country, crime rate. So it means if you have a higher crime rate, then the probability of us dying there and claiming is higher. So in order to be compensated, insurance provider has to really compensate or mitigate for that. And also, comparing us here in the UAE or Dubai, a lot of us, all of us in Dubai, are medically health insured. So that means that the probability of us getting sick, it's lower compared to other countries wherein they don't even have medical insurance. So there's a lot of factors, and also that would include your health and lifestyle as well. So if you're a smoker, it's more expensive than just a non-smoker. Yeah.
Okay.
So is there any option for people who's earning 2,500 dirhams a
Yeah,
month?
they can. It always boils down on what their needs are. Because if you're gonna be talking to a financial consultant, you really have to sit down with a financial consultant. These are your needs. These are your. I mean, you have to lay everything out so that they can, or we as a financial consultant will be able to provide the best solution for you, and that would depend on your budget and your requirements, and then protection requirements especially. Yeah.
Okay.
So even with 2,000 dirhams, 2,500 dirhams, they can still get life insurance as well.
Okay. And the insurance that they can get here, that's international.
International coverage. So when we say international coverage, it can be claimable within the UAE, international outside the country, and then even if they plan to go home already in the Philippines or their home country, they can still continue that term life insurance as well.
So how long will it take to fully pay on it? What is the price of payment?
It depends, because like say for example, we're talking about term insurance. So if we're talking about term insurance, you're just going to be paying the cost of insurance. So it depends if the plan is like for 10 years, 35 years. So they're going to be paying for that on a monthly basis for the whole duration of the term.
That's going to be fixed, right? For the
That's going to be
duration of the
fixed. So if they're going to be, if say for example, if they're sitting with a financial consultant and then later on they discuss that they need term insurance for the rest for the 35 years, then it's going to be fixed monthly amount for the whole 35 years. So it can be renewed probably on the 36th year, but the challenge with that, would be it's definitely expensive because he or she is already older, and then maybe at the time there are already illnesses, hypertension or diabetes. I mean, there are already some illnesses wherein it might be the client might not be able to get the insurance because he might be declined because of the pre-existing conditions as well. So that's the risk if you're gonna be taking a renewable insurance as well.
So now you mentioned earlier that there's permanent life and then there's term. So you've already explained some of the in a way you've already gone through the advantages of getting term. Now what about for permanent life insurance? Like comparing the two, okay, which one would, I mean, is one really better than the other, or is there basically like, it really depends on lifestyle, or
because just to give you an idea on what permanent life insurance is, so comparing to term life insurance and permanent life insurance, I've mentioned already that it's cheaper, that term insurance is cheaper because you're only paying for the cost of insurance. But if you're getting a permanent life insurance, there are also subcategories. There are two types of permanent life insurance as well. One is whole of life insurance, and then the other one is like vanishing premium. So the whole of life, but in general, permanent life insurance, it's a little expensive in a sense because you're not only paying the cost of insurance, you're also paying an investment into it. So say for example, if you're taking a permanent life insurance, then you're paying cost of insurance plus investment. If you're taking a permanent life insurance, which is whole of life permanent life insurance, you'll be paying all throughout your life for the insurance plus the investment. But there are also what we call as vanishing premiums, or sometimes it's called in the Philippines VUL. VUL. So you will be paying only for a specific time frame, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, depends on that. And then even beyond the term, like say for example, your term is 10 years, and on the 11th year, you are still insured, assuming that your investment actually also performs. Because one of the common misconception about insurance is that a lot of people actually take whole of life insurance or the VUL insurance as their retirement, as their savings plan, but the name itself is insurance. So it means that you are taking insurance to protect your life, your dependents, and also critical illness protection. So it's not the main purpose of the investment component in the insurance is to sustain to sustain your insurance, the sustainability of your insurance. So it means, say for example, if you're taking a whole of life insurance for 10 years, you are hoping that take note of the word hoping. On the 11th year, you are still insured all throughout your life. The reason for that is because if the investment component in your insurance is not performing well, like say for example 0, supposedly the reason why you're insured all throughout your life because they're taking the cost of insurance from your investment. If your investment is not performing well or you have withdrawn money from your investment, then you will no longer be insured. And that's one of the common misconceptions about whole of life insurance, because they thought that if they're going to be taking money from their insurance, they are still insured. And then some financial consultants would probably say just take 90%, just leave 10%, 10% just to sustain your insurance. But if you come to think of it, it's like the 10% investment, will that be enough to pay for your cost of insurance all throughout 75 years old, 95 years old? Most likely, it will only sustain your insurance for just probably 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And then on the 6th year, your insurance provider will call you up that you're no longer insured because your investment has depleted already. So that's the challenge. So you have to answer your question, which is better? It really has to it really depends, because it really depends on what's your purpose, what's your goal. For some I would recommend term insurance. For some I would also recommend permanent life insurance. So there are pros and cons, but you have to really think of what is your purpose, why you're taking life insurance. Is it for property, for estate taxes, or protection for critical illness? You really have to consider that. So there's no such thing as which is better. So it has to boil down on what your purpose is for taking an insurance.
So I guess one thing to note there's really no cookie cutter solution.
Yes, no blanket solution. No blanket solution. And and this is also very, because what I've noticed, common, maybe you can also check with your financial consultant, like common, if you're approaching a financial consultant, one of the common questions that they would ask would be, how much budget are you willing to spend? If that is the question, that financial consultant is basically just selling. Because because you might be overinsured, you might be just wasting your money, because you could have just, if you're overinsured, so that means your insurance is expensive because you're paying more than what is supposed to. So if you're supposed to be just paying just $100 or $150, but your financial consultant, because you said you have $3,000, then he might just bill you for a $2,000 insurance policy. But the challenge with that is that's more than enough. So it's expensive in a sense, because you could have just used that investment or that money somewhere else and put it in some goals, some investments, rather than just putting it in insurance. So, and that's also one of the reasons why it's expensive, because maybe your financial consultant just like based that on your budget, not actually on your need.
So at the end of bottom line, there is, before you even get insurance, your financial consultant really has to sit down with you and discuss what your situation is.
Exactly.
How much do you really need? How much coverage do you need?
Yes, exactly. It has to be calculated, because protection requirement varies, and it's unique to each individual lifestyle, family. So it has to be, if you took your life insurance just for, within 30 minutes of discussion, definitely there was no financial planning involved. So it will
That's
really
financial
take time.
selling.
The financial selling, yes. Because you can never set goals, you can never calculate priorities within just 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Exactly.
You really have to sit down with it, because that's a life goal.
Okay, for the millennials out there, because there are some
Like us.
Yeah. there are
Millennials
still,
from another millennium.
because there are still some who are making wise choices or wise investments.
Okay.
So, what can you recommend?
Say that again. If other would recommend in terms of insurance or in terms of
insurance.
investments.
Insurance.
For me personally, it's I'll just tackle like, when do you need life insurance? Life insurance. If you're
Is there any age cutoff?
for life insurance here in the UAE, you have to be at least 18 years old.
Okay.
18 years old to take life
Thank you,
insurance,
everybody.
and there are two ways on calculating insurance. So life protection as well as critical illness protection. So if we're going to be talking about life insurance, it just means that upon death, God forbid, if like something happens, you die, so you have to really think of your dependents, who your dependents are. So like say for example, your kids, your family back home, you have to really think of your dependents. But if you don't have any dependent at all, technically you don't need life insurance. Technically, you don't need life insurance if you don't have dependent at all. But here's the ironic part, or because the best time to get life insurance is when you were 18 years old. So that means like it contradicts to what I've said, right? Like you're 18 years old, you don't have work, you don't have family, you don't have kids, but why do you need to take life insurance, right? So because when you were 18 years, you need to take life insurance because health insurance is cheaper when you were 18 years old. When you were 18 years old, because life insurance is not only purchased with money. You purchase life insurance with money plus with your health. Because if you're no longer healthy, then you will never be able to avail life insurance. So if you're 18 years old, you also have to think about how many kids probably you want when you have a family. So say for example, if you're 18 years old and you're thinking about 2 kids, then you have to incorporate that one in your calculation of your life insurance, because a lot of people would say that I'm single, I don't have kids, I don't need life insurance. But when they're 40 years old, they have their kids, right? So if they're taking life insurance at that time, it's expensive already, because 40 years old is very expensive, right? And then they have 2 kids already. And then so maybe the protection requirement, and then at the time, maybe at that age, because they're no longer fit because they're no longer healthy, they have like whatever pre-existing conditions, so they might no longer be allowed to take life insurance. So you have as early as possible, once if you're able, then or let your mom, dad pay for your life insurance. I mean, as early as possible, you have to already take life insurance.
But what if, say for example, as you said, when you're young, you're healthy, and you don't really have any issues with your health, right? You don't really, I mean, yes, maybe some people will cry for you, cry over your death, but no dependents worrying if they'll survive without you or not. So, is it possible if you're, 18 to 25, for example, this is you're pretty much at the prime of your life here, right? So, is it possible to just get term insurance, lower premium, and then just focus more on the rider? Because, again, your worry at that stage is more of, will you be healthy until a certain age, right? Because if nobody's gonna cry over your death, for example, because they're not gonna be worried about their finances if the ground claims you, so maybe you can just get smaller life coverage and then more on the critical health illness, because it's more like income protection, so to speak. Because if you get cancer or whatever, then at least you have this money to sustain or to pay for your medical bills. So is that an option?
Like I've said, it really depends on your goals, because some people would if looking at your example, like say for example, 18 years old, you're taking term insurance. Of course, it's cheaper, right? 18 years old, and then the next 25 years. The next 7 years. So 18 to 25, then you'll be taking term insurance. So of course, it's cheaper, definitely, because it's not permanent life insurance. The challenge would be is this. That could be used as one of your strategies, but the challenge would be the cost of delay in when you're taking another insurance when you're already say for example 25 years old, it's a little expensive already compared when you were taking 18. So it really has to depend on your budget, and really has to depend on your goals, because some people would want to take permanent life insurance because they have that need of certainty, that even if say for example in the 10-year time frame or the 15-year time frame that they're taking their life insurance or permanent life insurance, they want to make sure that even if they no longer have income at that point, they are still insured. Because if you're taking term insurance all throughout 35 years, say for example you're 65 already, and you're still going to be paying for your term insurance, who's going to be paying for that if you don't have an income at all? So these are like things that you have to really consider. Like some people, they don't mind, but some people, they have that need of certainty that if, say for example, what if I'm 50 years old already, what if I just want to complete this one as fast as I can, as I can, so that at the end of the term, even if I'm no longer paying, but I'm still insured. So some people, it really depends. I hope that answers your question.
It did. Because again, we get that question sometimes, and oftentimes we hear that you need to get insured as early as possible when you're young and healthy. But then again, we also hear another statement which says, if nobody's gonna cry for you if you die, then what's the
Saint
point?
Peter will solve the problem.
That's one way to look at it. Now, I just want to take this opportunity as well
Okay,
to let people know about what you do. So you have this program that you conduct, which is Project Noah.
Okay,
Right? So can you just tell us more about
Project Noah is an advocacy. It's a initiative of mine teaching Filipinos in terms of financial education, because for me that's what we really need, and that's what we don't have. So a lot of people have been victims of scam, a lot of us, I call that, they just like people who are striking anywhere in terms of investment, wherein there is really no sense of, well-informed decision in terms of taking steps into their finances. So that Project Noah is an initiative that we're in. I conduct what I call Peso Mastery seminars. It's a 6-hour seminar. It's a free event. Last year, I think I conducted it twice, and this 2020 I'll be conducting it hopefully twice this year in 2020. So it's a free event. So hopefully BXD will be posting the schedules sooner as well. And then what I do is I conduct free goal setting sessions. Free goal setting is a 2-hour session. It's an unbiased goal set. It's not product driven because we're talking about goals. So I'm gonna be discussing your options in terms of options in the Philippines, options here, and then it has to be 100%. All of the people that have conducted goal setting sessions with, they really are happy that we have conducted it. They find it so very helpful. And then because what I do with the goal setting session is this, like, this is where you want to be, and this is where you are now. So during the goal setting session, we're trying to bridge that gap. And like, this is where you want to be and this is where you are now. So we brainstorm on how we are going to realistically bridge that gap. So if you're interested, can I say the URL? If you're interested, just visit projectnoah.ph. I have an online calendar there. You can schedule a free goal setting session, and then just write your details, and they'll get back to you to arrange where we're going to be discussing or we're having the goal setting session.
So we're going to be adding the link to that as well later.
Yes.
So you can visit his website, and I believe you also have created your own video. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, he's also a vlogger.
A very good video. So can you just tell us about that?
So it's related to Project Noah as well. I call it Biyahe ni Bay. So you can search it in YouTube. It's the channel there, Biyahe ni Bay. So what I do is while I'm driving or while I'm traveling, so I just discuss some financial tips and some, like I talk about insurance, how to manage your finances, investments, and then so the vlog itself or the video, the YouTube channel is geared towards financial awareness and education, because a lot of people have been asking me, well, how to do this, how to do this. I can just send you the link, and then this is how we just watch, and this is it. So it's a good channel. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, do please subscribe to that channel. Lots of useful
Thank you.
information
Biyahe ni
there.
Bay.
Yes. So,
Biyahe ni Bay.
yes. So I mean, you don't see a lot of channels like that, by the way, and that's
Thank you.
very
Unique.
innovative idea, a very unique idea, very unique way of looking at your finances and getting that kind of information.
Yes,
because
exactly.
I think, let's face it, not all people are willing to sit down for 2 hours sometimes. Set schedule.
Yeah. No, but the challenge is, I mean, it's interesting because like when I say to them that it's 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we always end up like 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. So they won't notice the time.
Yeah.
And then they're hesitant in a sense, like, oh, 2 hours, 3 hours, what are we going to do with 2 hours, 3 hours? But at the end, they're so thankful that they did the whole thing, because that gives them a sense of clarity in terms of direction, and they can actually be financially free in the short span of time. So which is very, very helpful, and I'll probably be doing that just for next year, and I don't know if I'm still continuing doing that on the so try to grab that opportunity now.
Yeah, so do try to schedule your sessions with Allan, as soon as you can, and then but if you don't have the time to sit down, then you can always watch his videos where he breaks everything down into easy to understand topics.
Yep.
Yeah. And do you have anything else to add?
Are you sure? No more questions?
So Allan, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much for
much.
giving us the
Thank
time.
you.
So guys, again, Allan Calumpang, and check out his links, his videos, very useful information, and watch out for more of his Project Noah programs for next year.
Thank you.
Right? So this has been Rod.
And Rona.
Thank you for watching BXD.
Hi guys, this is Alan. Please subscribe to BXD Now on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And their website is www.bxdnow.com.